Oh, I know that sound. It's time for the Beer and News Report. Hi, and welcome to the Beer and News Report. Cheers. Well, this time I'm in my backyard and you can see my lemon tree. Yeah, so I got a lemon and an orange tree. And this one produces like crazy. I give them away to my neighbors all the time. Anyways, I've been getting pinged for the past week by viewers wondering why hasn't there been a Beer News Report out yet? Well, I had family in town. They were visiting and they just left. It was my brother and his wife. So we did some tourist stuff. We went out to eat a couple times. And of course, with extra helping hands around the house, we did a ton of yard work. And I ended up getting poison oak. Dang, that stuff is itchy. If you think mosquito bites are itchy, nah, it's nothing compared to poison oak. So this is going to be a short video about some feedback from viewers and also hints of future shows. So let's grab a beer and start this thing. Cheers. First off, thanks to all of you who have watched my show, especially the one, Will China Pass the U.S. in GDP? That is now my #1 viewed show. It's also #1 in the amount of comments. It's also #1 in the amount of people who have become subscribers. It passed the old #1 show, which was my interview of Dr. Aubrey de Grey. He was the one that did anti-aging and life extension. You know, I need to call him and get him back in because, you know, maybe he can retake first place. I also want to say that some of the comments on the China USA GDP show, they were really intriguing. I've never heard of a group called the Wu Mao Brigade, but apparently this is a group of Chinese trolls who search the internet looking for people who make disparaging remarks against China, and once they find them, they attack. Luckily, my channel is too small. It's not enough for them to flag it, so they didn't find me. But there were several viewers, which I believe are either from China or their nationality is Chinese, that responded in defense of China. You know, and that's okay. Everyone has the right to their opinion. Cheers. A lot of my friends have seen the show called The Ozempic Effect, and they said I should give it a try. They say that me being 1 month on Ozempic should get me at my target weight because I'm so active. My physical comes up in June, and I'm going to ask my doctor about it, see if maybe it's an option. You know, but I'm also doing this drug study on rapamycin. I finished the first round, which was all of last year, and this is a research trial to see if rapamycin can trigger anti-cancer response in the body. So they told me I was on rapamycin, a small dose, and they're starting a second trial just to see if it can carry over. They sent me an email. I haven't signed up yet because if I go on Ozempic, I can't be on rapamycin, or it'll ruin it for the drug study, right? Because they want only rapamycin, nothing else. So let's wait till after the physical and see how this all turns out. Maybe I could start in June, you know, because I just want to be on Ozempic for a month. I don't want to go too far out. I got another show called Replacement Rate, and it got a lot of comments too. One viewer called @DMV he took issue with the way I calculated replacement rate for my family. And if you read his comments, you'll see that there is a ton of math. As you know, if you take a macro view, your family's actually growing. I responded that he's correct. I looked at his math and sure, but I was taking a micro view of my family so that my siblings could rib each other, right? My family's real competitive, and so I wanted to give them a chance to see if either my brothers or my sisters, if they were beating another one, so they could just kind of like poke them in and say, hey, I'm ahead of you. You got to catch up, right? Everyone, I'm sure if you have brothers or sisters, you tease each other, right? So that's mainly, if you look at my response to him, that's mainly what I said to him. I also have another viewer called Connie Bastillo. I used to work with her at Apple. She watched my show way back in June of 2022 called Predictions. And in that show, I predicted that technology would eventually produce an artificial womb, thereby canceling out the need for abortions. Well, she sent me an article explaining that there actually is now an artificial womb in research, and currently they can take a fetus as early as 16 weeks. And right now, if you think about it, a lot of the states, the cutoff is 16 weeks, right? So you can get an abortion up to 16 weeks, but after 16 weeks, you have to go through with the birth. And with this artificial womb, you can basically say, okay, well, since I can't get an abortion, I'll just give it to the state or whatever through this artificial womb. So thanks, Connie. It's nice to know that my predictions might possibly come true. It's always cool to hear from viewers, you know? Cheers. Okay, let's move on to upcoming shows. While my brother and his wife were out here, I had this big beer tasting party. I had about 10 or 11 people, and we rated 22 different beers. It's a lot of fun. I taped it, but it's going to take me a while because most of my shows are 10 to 15 minutes long, and this one was over 90 minutes, and I'm sure you don't want to watch this for 90 minutes. So I got to clip it all out and edit it down to 10 or 15 minutes. So it's probably not going to be my next show. That one's going to take forever. So the next show is possibly the show I call Trends. And I got all these charts that show these new trend lines happening, and it compares a lot of the generations, right? The Zoomers compared to the Millennials, compared to the Baby Boomers and stuff. And so what I do is I kind of build a story around it, and I'm shooting for 10 different trends. So, you see how the 10 different trends affect me in this storyline. So that should be fun, right? I'm also running a show about rapamycin, the research project I did last year, although they haven't given me the results. I need to keep contacting them and discussing it to see if I can build a show around it. All right, finally, I've done a lot of shows about AI, but I've been reading these articles about how AI is already in use. And I'm not talking about ChatGPT or self-driving cars. I'm talking about how AI can be used in... Well, let me just tell you. So they have fast food restaurants, and what they do is they put in AI, and the AI can figure out your facial recognition and discover what sex you are, about how old you are, what you're ordering, how you're paying for the food. It gets all this data, right? And then they kind of build a model around you so they can get you to eat more. And it also is in vending machines. So I want to kind of go into that. And then there's this other product. It's a camera. And this camera, using AI, it takes a regular picture, and then you push the AI button, and it can undress you, right? Now, I remember, was it about 10 years ago that they came out with a camcorder? I think it was Sony. And you'd push this button that had a special filter on it, and it could go beneath the clothes. But I think it still showed like the bra and panties and stuff. It didn't go completely nude, whereas this AI thing goes completely nude. So I cannot imagine that it'll be legal, but it's a fun story. Oh, and there's one other part in this whole, there's a bunch of articles. But have you ever heard of dead internet? Basically, this is where AI is producing more content on the internet than actual people. So think about it. If there's no people, or in the future, when there's basically no people producing content, it's considered dead, right? Because it's just AI producing the content. You'll like it. It's a good article. So that's what's coming up in the future. Cheers. Well, I'm not even close to being empty, but we are at the end of the show. If you want to contact me, you can reach me at this email address. Today I am drinking Hurricane, right? And this is a malt liquor. High alcohol content, 8.1%. Now, if you've ever been around these people, right, and they say, hey, I like spicy food, right? And the spicier the better. And you're eating this salsa, and you have different salsas. And what I find out is as it gets more and more spicy, it kind of loses the flavor. Well, I think that's the same with this beer. As it gets more and more alcohol, you can taste mainly alcohol. You can't really taste the beer. The alcohol overwhelms it. So it's easy to drink. It's not bad. It's like a lager. And what I really like about this is if you look at this right here, right? It says it's a Category 5 hurricane, right? That's the biggest hurricane. So, and then it says, be bold, be smooth, be powerful. So I thought that was funny. Kind of cool, right? So I think you should give it a try, especially if you like alcohol type drinks or strong alcohol drinks, then the beers. Then this is the one for you. So I hope you had a good time watching the show, and please click that like button if you did. Of course, if you want to get notified of new shows, click that subscribe button and the little bell icon next to it, and this will notify you when a new show has been posted. Till then, keep your beer cold and your interests hot. Cheers.